کرام، خدمت یکایک شما برادران و خواهران گرامی و ارجمند، امروز بنده اسمت حیدری به زبان فارسی و همکار خوبم نازدانه محمدی به زبان انگلیسی مجریان برنامه شما هستیم. انشاءالله تعالی که یک برنامه خوب و مفیدی را برای جمع خویش داشته باشیم. امروز دور هم جمع شدیم که از تاریخ نسل کشی هزاره ها، روزی که جبهه مقاومت هزارستان شکست خورد، روزی که دیگر ریختن خون هزاره ها، غارت و چپاول اموال و نوامیس هزاره ها حلال گردید، روزی که فتوای کافر بودن هزاره ها صادر شد و قتل عام و نسل کشی هزاره ها توسط عبدالرحمن خان حاکم جابر، خونخوار و ستمگر آن زمان آغاز گردید. به روایت تاریخ بیش از 60% مردم ما کشته، اسیر، برده و مهاجر از وطن و دیار خود شدند و آمدیم که امروز این تاریخ را مورد بحث و بررسی قرار دهیم. دور هم جمع شدیم که تاریخ این دوره را برای خود و جامعه خود و جامعه بشری به شرح و تفسیر گیریم، برای بهتر فهمیدن و دانستن این تاریخ و عوامل درونی و بیرونی که باعث این فاجعه گردید. امروز شخصیت‌های بزرگ علمی، فرهنگی، سیاسی و تاریخی مردم خویش را دعوت نموده ایم که در جمع ما حضور یافتند. امروز جمع ما میزبان مهمانان گرامی و گران قدری هستیم. هر یکشان استاد محمد جواد سلطانی، استاد دانشگاه، شخصیت علمی، فرهنگی، سیاسی و اجتماعی مردم ما و همچنین استاد محترم محمد علی گلزاری، شخصیت فرهنگی، علمی، نویسنده و محقق امور تاریخی مردم خود هستیم. لذا حضور و تشریف فرمایی این دو بزرگوار و سایر مهمانان گرامی و ارجمند را در جمع خویش از حضور و تشریف فرماییشان صمیمانه از طرف خود و از طرف تمام بانیان مجلس و ارگانیزرها خوش آمدید و خیر مقدم می‌خوانیم. انشاءالله تعالی که بتوانیم نهایت استفاده را جمع ما از برنامه امروز از وجود این عزیزان بتوانیم ببریم. انشاءالله تعالی.
Thank you, Mr. Hazara. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, and special guests. Welcome to today's program. On behalf of all of the organizers, we warmly welcome you all to today's gathering, a gathering to commemorate the genocide of our people, the Hazaras. My name is Nazdana Mohammadi, and it is truly an honor to be here today and host this program alongside Mr. Hazara. Together, we will guide you through this program, a program of remembrance, solidarity, organized to honor the memory of our people and to speak the truth about the ongoing and horrific genocide against the Hazara community and to recognize it as we stand together for justice and peace. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the true custodians of the land on which we have gathered today, the Whadjuk Noongar people. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Now, we would like to take a moment to give you a brief overview of what we have planned for this afternoon. We will have the Quran recited, followed by the Australian national anthem. We would like to welcome our guests, our special guests, and then have speeches presented by Mrs. Semiye Mirzai, Ustad Jawad Sobhani, Ms. Teresa Linz, Ustad Muhammad Gulzari, and Peter Abetz. We also have a special book announcement. Mr. Gulzari has a few books that he has dedicated many years of his life towards researching about our Hazara genocide and the persecution that we have endured under certain regimes. And then to finish off, we would like to thank our sponsors and the communities that have gone far beyond to make this program come true. Our program has been carefully put together to share knowledge about our history and highlight the voices of those who have worked tirelessly to raise awareness and bring light to the horrific tragedies that our Hazaras have endured. Thank you.
تشکر فراوان از همکار خوبم خانم نازدانه محمدی. همکنون از برادر عزیزم قاری محترم برادر مهدی اشرف در جایگاه دعوت می نمایم تا با تلاوت آیاتی چند از کلام حق این مجلس و محفل را آغاز نمایند. آقای مهدی اشرف.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كل الطعام كان حلا لبني إسرائيل إلا ما حرم إسرائيل على نفسه إلا ما حرم إسرائيل على نفسه من قبل أن تنزل التوراة قل فأتوا بالتوراة فاتلوها إن كنتم صادقين فمن افترى على الله الكذب من بعد ذلك فأولئك هم الظالمون. قل صدق الله فاتبعوا ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. مكة مباركا وهدى للعالمين فيه آيات بينات مقام إبراهيم ومن دخله كان آمنا ولله على الناس حج البيت من استطاع إليه سبيلا ومن كفر فإن الله غني عن العالمين صدق الله العلي العظيم صلى الله عليه
جهان سپاس و تشکر از قاری محترم برادر عزیز ما آقای مهدی اشرف.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite everyone to please stand for the national anthem. While we listen, let's reflect on the journey that has brought us here, the freedoms, the opportunities that we have in this country, and on the bonds that unite us as a community today. We are grateful to be in Australia, a country that allows us to gather safely, to honour our history and share the hope and togetherness of our community.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free, with golden soil and wealth fertile, our home is God by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia beneath the radiant Southern Cross, we'll toil with hearts and hands to make this Commonwealth of ours renowned on all the land. For those who come across the seas with boundless plains to share, with courage let us all combine to advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Thank you. Please be seated. Before we move on to our first speaker, we would like to take a moment to warmly acknowledge some very special guests who are with us today. We are honoured to have with us today Ustad Muhammad Buzari, a renowned author, historian, archivist and founder of Hazara Art Archives. Ustad Muhammad Jawad Sultani, a respected lecturer and author. Mr. Peter Abetz, councillor at the City of Gosnells and a long-time supporter of the Hazara community. And Mr. Bill Mahanti, who is running for councillor in the City of Gosnells and who has been very active supporter of our community. And lastly, Ms. Samiye Mirzai, a passionate young activist. Thank you all for being here. Your presence means so much, not only to the organisers, but to our entire community. Today, your presence strengthens our determination to honour our past, raise awareness of our community's struggles, and work together for a better future for Hazaras here in Australia and Afghanistan. Without further ado, it is our privilege to welcome our first speaker, Ms. Samiye Mirzai. She is a passionate young activist and a powerful voice for the next generation of Hazaras. She has dedicated her work to raising awareness about our community's history and the challenges we continue to face. Please join me in giving her a warm round of applause.
History tried to silence our voices, but even silence has an echo. And that echo is what brings us together today, to remember, to rebuild, and to rise. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Samiye Mirzai, and I want to begin by welcoming each and every one of you here today. Our elders, our respected guests, our youth, and two of our very own role models, Ustad Muhammad Buzari and Ustad Muhammad Sultani, who have travelled from other states to be with us today. On this day, we have gathered to mark Hazara Genocide Memorial Day, a day that carries deep meaning in our collective memory, and a day when we pause to remember the generations of our people who were persecuted and displaced simply for being who they were, for being Hazara. It is a solemn reminder of the pain and injustice our ancestors endured, and of the resilience that allowed our community to survive against all odds. But although this day is one of remembrance, it is not only about mourning. It is also a day for us to reflect on how far we, as a community and as Hazaras, have come. Despite centuries of discrimination and violence, the Hazara spirit has not been broken. In fact, it has strengthened. Our story is not one of defeat. It is one of endurance, education, progress, and hope. As a data scientist, I've come to see that the history of our people, the Hazara story, is one that has not been fully captured or represented through data. Because of this, I decided to conduct my own research in order to analyze the trends and insights of the attacks that have been taking place against the Hazaras in the 21st century. And today, I would like to share some of that research with you, not just as data points or statistics, but as a way to honor our history, give voice to those who were silenced, and reflect on what we can do moving forward as a community. Now, before I begin discussing my research, I want to briefly provide some context about who the Hazaras are and what has happened to our people throughout history, So I'll start off with the introduction and a brief background first. The Hazaras of Afghanistan are one of the oldest ethnic groups, native to the central region known as Hazara, as we can see on this map here. We're known for our hospitality, poetry, and artistic traditions. Historically, we have faced discrimination simply because of our ethnic identity and Shia faith. The ancient Buddhas of Bamyan, destroyed by the Taliban in 2001, located in the heart of Hazara land, stand as a symbol of our rich cultural heritage. The major turning point in our history came under Amir Abdur Rahman Khan, who rose to power in 1880 and began planning to bring all of Afghanistan under his control, including Hazaristan. And by 1890, he mobilized around 100,000 troops to fight against the Hazaras. And between 1891 and 1893, he declared a religious war, a jihad, where he called upon all tribes to join, leading to a massive invasion of Hazaristan from all directions. By September 1893, Hazaristan had fallen, with 62% of our population massacred. And that is why September 25 is remembered as Hazara Black Day, a day of mourning for the fall of Hazaristan, and a day to honor the memory of the centuries, countless lives lost to genocide, slavery, and displacement. However, in more recent times, the Hazaras have continued to face targeted attacks, especially during the 1990s under the Taliban regime and again during the post-2001 period. Due to this, the aim and objective of my research was to analyze the condition of Hazaras in the 21st century to determine whether the effects of the historical persecution still exist today, and to help guide better decisions for the protection and empowerment of our Hazaras in the future. The focus of my research was built around three main questions. First, how has the frequency and intensity of attacks against the Hazaras changed over time? Meaning, has it increased, decreased, or taken new forms? Second, where are Hazaras most at risk? And has the geography of violence shifted over the years? Third, what types of attacks are most common, such as bombing, shootings, abduction, or other forms? To answer these questions, I've used data from Hazara Genocide Database, which is an online platform that records verified incidents of attacks against the Hazara community. Using data from 2010 to 2024, including cases from both Afghanistan and Pakistan. Then, after combining all of the data together, I performed the analysis, which we will now go over the results. To answer my first question, this chart shows the pattern of violence against the Hazara community from 2010 to 2024. As we can see here, Afghanistan is represented by the red color, while Pakistan is represented by the gray. The result shows that over the period of 14 years, since 2010, more than 1,100 fatalities have been recorded. And when we look closely at this trend, we can see that there are two major spikes that immediately stand out. The first is in 2013 in Pakistan, where fatalities increased to 201 records. And the second is in 2001 in Afghanistan, where over 230 deaths were recorded following the Taliban's regime. Now, on this chart, I've narrowed the focus to Afghanistan only. And as we can see on the map here, all of the attacks that have happened against the Hazaras can be seen, and they're distributed in all of the Hazara populated area. And from this result, we can see that since 2010, a total number of 660 Hazaras have lost their lives in Afghanistan. Now, I wanted to understand exactly what is happening, which areas are the most at risk. And doing this, the result shows that the top 3 hotspot areas where most of the attacks against the Hazaras have taken place in Afghanistan, the first one is Dasht-i-Barchi in Kabul, with the highest number of fatalities, reaching over 200 deaths. The second top area is Mazar-e-Sharif, with 80 death records, while the third is Kunduz, where 68 Hazaras have been killed. This result shows that although Kabul remains the primary center of violence in recent years, the attacks against the Hazaras have also extended to other cities such as Mazar-e-Sharif and Kunduz. Now, if we take a look at Pakistan, the data shows very similar results. It shows that nearly all of the majority of attacks that took place since 2010 have happened in Kota, with 459 deaths recorded. Again, to determine exactly which of the areas are the hotspot, I looked at them to see what the results were. And we found that the top 3 hotspot locations for Pakistan Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay, we'll go back. The top 3 hotspot locations for Pakistan is Kirani Road in Hazara town as top 1 location, with 92 fatalities that were recorded. The second hotspot is Alamdar Road, which recorded 81 deaths, while the third hotspot is Mizan Chowk, with 53 deaths recorded during a public rally. Again, these incidents are not random. They represent a pattern of calculated targeting of Hazara neighborhood. And when we compare this to the data results obtained for Afghanistan earlier, we can see that there is a cross-border continuity where violence follows the same patterns of focusing specifically on Hazara populated areas. Now, when we look at how exactly these attacks were carried out during these years, we can see that the most deadly method that has been used is explosion, making up 60% of the fatalities represented on this data chart. And the second most common method used was suicide bombing, accounting for roughly 30% of the total deaths. On this chart, we can see that from 2010 to 2014, the violence was mostly concentrated in Pakistan. However, after 2018, the pattern changed, with the center of violence shifting from Pakistan to Afghanistan. where we can see a huge spike in 2021, where 237 Hazaras were killed. This shift in targeting becomes even more clear when we look at what happened after 2018, particularly inside Afghanistan. Now, looking at this next part, we can see that post-2018, Afghanistan recorded 28 major incidents, resulting in 532 fatalities. What's most alarming here is where exactly these attacks were taking place. And the data shows that the single most targeted sites were education centers, accounting for 192 deaths. With the second most targeted space were mosque and religious sites, with over 160 deaths, showing that even houses of worship were not spared, and also proving our point that Hazaras are persecuted simply for their Shia faith. Now, this next chart takes us even deeper, because it shows who these attacks were really meant to hurt. Because between 2018 and 2024, there were 4 major educational-related attacks in Afghanistan, all concentrated in one area, Dashti-Barchi in Kabul. In total, 232 students and teachers were killed. And when we look closer at the data, an overwhelming 82 to 94% of these victims were females, as we can see. The finding of this research, though difficult to confront, also reveals something deeply hopeful. They show that while the form of persecution against the Hazara has changed from physical violence in the past to attacks on education today, the determination of our community has not. Every attempt to silence us has only strengthened our belief that knowledge is our only path forward. This means the greatest opportunity we have now is through education, through the power to learn, to think, and to rebuild. In Afghanistan, it means continuing to protect and prioritize education even under threat. And here in Australia, it means using the safety, access, and resources we have to create change, to educate ourselves, share our story, and build a stronger, more informed next generation. For the parents in our community, this is where your role becomes vital. Encourage your children to study, to question, to dream big. Because their education is not just their achievement, it is our community's strength and our hope for a better future. While this research provides meaningful insights into the ongoing persecution of the Hazara community, it's important to recognize its limitation and the opportunities for future work. First, there were gaps in the data. Some incidents were never reported because of limited media access and safety restriction in conflicted areas. So, the real numbers of attacks and casualties could be likely higher than what the data shows. Second, this research only focuses on Afghanistan and Pakistan between 2010 and 2024, including only verified attacks that were recorded on the Hazara genocide database online. Records prior to 2010 were excluded as inconsistent and reliable data from those years were largely unavailable. For example, for some incidents, the location was not verified. For some, the gender was not verified, so therefore I decided to exclude them in order to get an accurate result. So, the study does capture the recent patterns of persecution, but however, not the full historical picture. In the future, this study can be extended by collecting more comprehensive data, especially for the years between 2010 as historical records become available or verified. Now, before I conclude, I would like to tell the youth that although our story is painful, know that it is powerful. Our story tells us that even in the face of oppression, the Hazara people have survived, rebuilt, and carried forward their identity. You are that identity. You are the living future of the Hazara story. And because of this, it is now up to you to carry forward our story, not just as victims of persecution, but as people of resilience, culture, and pride. So, what can you do to carry our story forward? Well, first, learn our history. Take time to understand where we come from. Ask questions, talk to your parents and grandparents, learn from their experiences, because their stories are the foundation of who we are. Second, use your education and your skills. Whatever path you choose, science, art, politics, data, or media, use it to raise awareness, to tell our story, and to make a difference for our community. Third, be proud of who you are. Never shy away from your identity. Carry the Hazara name with confidence and dignity wherever you go. And finally, speak up for justice. Whether it's online or in person, use your voice responsibly to stand against discrimination and injustice, not just for Hazaras, but for anyone who faces oppression. Because when you speak, you represent generations before you. And when you rise, you carry all of us forward. Thank you.